Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Pinnacle Cup. We got playoffs and we've got a hell of a game for you. We've got forZe taking on SKADE. We have got the kind of Russian powerhouse that have proven to cement themselves in the top 20 against SKADE, the kind of Bulgarian titans who are looking to emerge into that very same top 20 region. Of course, I'm Castle Kramer 3. I'm joined by the wonderful Emma J. Josh, how do you feel about this one?
I feel good, but I feel a bit insecure about my camera. You know, every time we come on camera, I've got
Yeah,
a better camera than you. All right,
you
not to
do.
brag, but I have a
You do.
much better camera than you, and you just look better. It's just all of it.
It's
It
all
just
lighting. It's all lighting. We've got a
unbelievable.
massive box over there. We've got a ring there. We've got the overhead light. Literally, it's you. I feel like lighting is everything at this
It's
point.
unreal. I could turn.
Absolutely
I
is.
have one, but it's rubbish. But we'll see. We'll see. Should we turn it on?
We can tell that you're really cropping yourself as well because you lose half your arm when you lean over as
Unbelievable.
well.
Well, anyway, we've got a really good game. Yeah, forZe versus SKADE. It's going to be a good one. I'm actually very, very excited about this, to be honest. We take a look at this, this big old bracket that we've got ahead of us, and it's quite exciting. So we saw yesterday Mao's NXT take on Copenhagen Flames. That was a hell of a matchup in which Copenhagen Flames were just narrowly able to take it over the top. Then they played against Sinners. Now, to be honest, I thought that they would kind of not necessarily get rolled by Sinners, but I thought that it was going to be maybe a little more one-sided than it ended up being. Two really close games, but they did end up falling. So Sinners move on to that next one. They'll be playing up against the winners of Havu and Endpoint, which will be a really, really good game. And then on the other side of the bracket, of course, SKADE had to beat Entropic to get here, which is an incredible result for them. That's bye-bye Entropic, which honestly, I thought Entropic were going to be one of the teams in the finals. I thought we would maybe see like an Entropic Spirit finals or something along those lines. This is at the start of the tournament, of course. Fiend took down Young Ninjas, and then on this side of the bracket today, of course, we've got forZe, SKADE, and Team Spirit versus Fiend. So a bit of a CIS derby, and I think it's going to be a really, really exciting day.
Of course, we look over at forZe, and we have got a very strong line. Of course, we've got Kenzie, Zorte, Flint, Almeza, and Jerry. Now, the man to watch out for is Kenzie. When he is rolling, he is unstoppable. Especially when he brings out that double AWP. Once he has that secondary one, he can prove to be ruthless. And honestly, he seems to be the unsung hero for this side. Of course, statistically, you're looking more at Flitz, who has also had some insane series recently. Bear in mind that forZe are currently bragging a 6-series win streak against Young Ninjas, Entropic, Demiga, some pretty good teams in there, and they're showing themselves to be a extremely talented side. Of course, we look at their opponents though, over on SKADE.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump a tiny bit, Flit, the $1 million man, yeah? Back in the day, Na'Vi wanted to pick him up. I think forZe wanted a little bit too much for him, or so I've heard. But yeah, he was like a massive, massive rising star a couple of years back, and he's still dominating the scene. Now, SKADE, these guys have been together for some time now, since sort of making those roster changes that we saw at the start of the year. They've been pretty solid. They've been climbing the ranks. Rainwaker, Duplicate, Denny Slaw, Oxygen, and Ships. Denny on that AWP is an absolute monster. If he turns up, then forZe have got something to fear. Yeah, I think back when they had, do they still have Almeza on the AWP? Is it still Almeza AWPing?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think they had like a little bit of time where Almeza went elsewhere. And I think that kind of firepower was missed, but with him back in the roster, then that's actually going to be a really cool battle. Ship's often a player that is, a bit of a star. Yeah, he often will turn up, have big games, things like that, and really someone to look out for as well. So I'm really excited to see this matchup. I think this could definitely go 3 maps, but it kind of comes down to the veto.
Well, on the veto, let's take a look at where we'll be playing. Of course, we've got a Band of Ancient from SKADE, understandably so. It's a map they've really struggled on recently. Something to highlight as well as SKADE, they play all 7 maps. So a veto is really where they look to make themselves more comfortable rather than make themselves in a position where they can even win the series. It also looks like our first map will be Dust 2, picked by SKADE. Of course, a map they've had quite a lot of success on recently. Map which forZe also play. Of course, Mirage, the next pick, exactly the same story. forZe, SKADE both play at forZe a little bit better though. And with our decided being Overpass, we have a very close series. I expect this is going to be 3 mappers, and honestly, for Overpass, I suspect, 16-14s overtimes. This is a long one, so strap yourselves in.
Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, forZe are your favorites. You're talking when you look into like world rankings and things like that. There's only 7 places in it, to be fair. But when you get to this kind of level, you jump into the top 30. 7 spaces is actually quite a big margin. Both of these sides really, really good with all 3 maps. You said SKADE play all 7 maps in the pool. forZe play 6 of the 7. So it's going to be very difficult unless you somehow manage to throw them onto a vertigo. It's pretty unlikely that they're going to end up playing something that they're not comfortable with. So, of course, both teams rocking really solid win rates on both maps. I think there's definitely a chance that they could take each other's map picks or take their own map picks and end up on that third. I think that the real exciting one will be Overpass if it comes to it. But we're just going to have to wait and see. It really comes down to which team shows up today and kind of puts their foot down early in the server.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And I actually think that push comes to shove, a forZe 2-0 is on the table here. I think that Dust 2 is a map they have been able to show themselves as a team that they're very damn strong on. I think Mirage, they're one of the best teams that play Mirage at the moment, and I think that is just going to be a win for them. Dust 2 is really actually where this gets settled. I suspect SKADE win it, but this is really going to come down to the duel between Dennyslaw and Almeza, which frankly is going to be a really entertaining one. We've seen that Dennyslaw, a player who can really win a game single-handedly. The same can be said for Almeza, and when these titans clash, these kind of battle of Goliaths, it's going to be one for the ages. Of course, here we are, the pistol round, map 1 of our second series of the day. Josh, take it away.
Well, we're kicking things off on Dust 2. forZe on their CT side, and Flip, I like this confidence. Bomb it down mid early, get into lower tunnels. Now, whilst he won't see anything, this is great information. They've got control of mid. They realize no one's here. As Flip pushes through the tunnels, he'll realize that the B tunnels are completely clear, and that it has to be a long take. Now, SKADE have been given quite a bit of control here. Finally, forZe are realizing, but SKADE are already at the party. Smokes go across, they're onto the site, and this is going to be a retake for forZe.
Bit of a miscom from forZe there. We have Rainwaker trying to take a fight, but it's Zorta to get the first member. Ship's continuing to do damage where he can. And with the equalizer coming out, Almeza having been dinked down means that it is still relatively close. But Flitz on the jump shot shuts down Duplicate. The plant has been cancelled. And now with the note of Rainwaker, it all falls down to the defending players. As Oxygen shuts down Flit, it's all onto Zorte. He too falls to Oxygen with a very clean spam there, giving SKADE their first round and slowly pushing their way into this next, well, the start of their map pick of Dust 2. For forZe, it's going to be a reinvestment coming out with Scouts and Deagles.
I sort of almost commended forZe for the way they played that pistol round there. I thought it was quite smart, the setup they went for, but they just weren't reactive enough. As soon as they realized that there was no one in mid, there was no one in tunnels, that should be massive alarm bells that, oh my goodness, they're taking long. SKADE, they just didn't waste any time. They got right in. forZe gave them all the space, all the time to work with. And by the time the rotations came in, it was kind of too late. One on the board here for SKADE. Hefty buy behind them as well going into this second. They're not taking any major gambles. We see 4 rifles in play. Denny with that scout, but we know just how powerful he can be with it. It's like a little pocket AWP. Good damage as well. Straight onto Zorte. Not the headshot he's looking for, but one of his teammates should be able to finish him off.
Also, as we wait for the attack once again, we have Jerry over on a site, waiting for this attack to come, and with no follow-up yet, SKADE, the same sort of slow tactic to get up long. It worked for them in the pistol round. They're going to try it again now when, as we see Flip boosted up, he's caught out. It works twice. Dennyslaw with a clean shot. Well, Kenzie was able to respond. There's still a man down. It's a nice bit of damage, but it's tickle damage at that. And for the most part, forZe in a 3-on-4. I fully expect them to back off and save here, but as Rainwaker shuts down Almeza, for forZe, I would actually love to see absolutely love to see a save here.
Well, 4-on-2. Zorte and Kenzie. Obviously, I suppose it's worth saving. They're in a position where, this Deagle and this Scout could definitely do some damage in the next round, whereas otherwise they'll just be on an eco. Realistically, I think they want exit frags right now. They're not pushing too hard for them, but you can kind of tell Zorte, in the back of his mind, really wants someone to get aggressive in long, give them an opportunity to maybe go and grab a Galil or something like that. SKADE nice and disciplined, though. They know that these weapons are going to be very powerful moving into the next round, so there's no point in throwing them away. Let this economy build up. If they want to reinvest, if they want to go for the hunts in the next round, then they can afford to do so. But right now, get your foothold. Get a stable economy and a stable lead. before you start taking any major risks. We see those odds come up. Remember, they're the series odds, Kremer, and they're pretty one-sided to forZe.
I was going to say, did you see them? That was about 3-1. I am really surprised they are that one-sided. Bear in mind, though, they are the series odds, not the map odds. So that could be expecting a 2-1. I would argue it's expecting a 2-1, but for SKADE, they seem to want to make this first map about as one-sided as possible. As Flitz rotates to doors, he sees the attack coming. Unfortunately, with just a deagle, he can't do much against the kind of prowling AKs. We're all looking for a bit of a kill and a bit of an opening, but a bomb plant, that'll do just that. For full buy coming next round anyway, I kind of want to see forZe maybe attempt a bit of damage here, but they seem to be more than happy to just back off.
I always feel whenever we watch SKADE, they either come in just super dominant. There's kind of three different sides to SKADE. It's either they're super dominant, they're playing against a team that they're just worse than. Sorry, not worse than. They're playing against a team that they're much better than, and they just kind of run around and hit all their shots. Sometimes, and it's quite rare, you'll get a SKADE where they sort of get caught off guard. They play against a side that maybe they're not expecting to do so well, and they have a bit of a shaky result. But it seems quite consistent that anytime SKADE play against a team that are technically ranked higher than them, and we saw this against Entropic the other day, we saw it against Sprout as well earlier this week when they played against them, they can come into matches just super, super prepared. And that's what I feel like we've seen in these first few rounds. They know exactly what they're doing. There's no confusion. There's no time wasted. Right from the get-go, they're all in their positions. They're all taking the appropriate fights. And then the discipline as well in the late round calls to not overextend and things like that. They are super prepared for this. They are like hard anti-stratting forZe right now. And there's another example of it. Denny knows that Jerry likes to go for the cross into pit, so he punishes him.
That was ruthless. He just deleted him as he tried to cross there. For SKADE, as they now stack up in tunnels, they've got players in top mid. They prepare their engagement onto B, and for kenzie, he's a man to watch out for. They do have Flit there as well, who's going to be prepared for the engagement. But as they both deploy their smokes to work a bit of space, SKADE instead, rather than kind of waiting for them to dissipate in the top of tunnels, they just open up mid. The man to worry about will be Flit. He was positioned in window. But as the CT smokes get deployed, Ashton alerts him to the fact players are coming, and while he lines up one, he tags down Oxygen. He too takes a lot of damage. It's only an equalizer for now, though, as Oxygen's nade shuts him down. Rainwaker, he knows kenzie's going to be on the close angle, but kenzie's good for two. He tries to go through the smoke as he dives through, then he slow hits the no scope. Another 2-on-2. As Zorte tries to hold the cross. He's there in time, but the secondary smoke is just perfect there. Another missed shot means that as they follow up, we're going to be seeing Rainwaker deploy that bomb. And so it'll start ticking. The 2-on-2. Denny saw good for another. Zorte in the 1v2. He's a little slow to get into tunnels. He's been punished by losing his teammates. And as E2 now swings into the AWP, E2.
Oh, wow.
That's a second chance, but unfortunately, with that second chance, he's going to go save and will disAWP in the next round as SKADE go 4-0 up.
After kenzie's big play, I think that forZe should be pretty tilted right now that they weren't able to close that one out. To be honest, I like the ambition on kenzie there after he finds those 2 kills towards the doors. He knows that they're in tunnels and he says, right, I can hear him reload and I'm just going to send it through this smoke. Denny hitting the no-scope, maybe a little bit of luck was on his side with that one, but SKADE, they still take it nonetheless. Denny with a 3k to close that one out. Really, really solid stuff. And a quick tech pause before we get underway with the next. This is a sticky situation for forZe because there's money behind them. They've got this max loss bonus now. They've lost 4 in a row. But it feels like there's not quite enough. There's like $3,400, $3,500 on a couple of these guys. I think we'll maybe see half buys around this AWP and then a proper investment in the next. Look at them though. Laser focused. A couple of them even tabbing out just to look at Discord. Have that face-to-face interaction whilst you're...
That's pretty cool, actually. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Yeah, so look your teammate in the eye and go, all right, this needs to change. But we are only 4 rounds in. So if there ever was a time for a pause, I mean, now's unfortunately it's attack 1. Hopefully we can get it resolved pretty quickly. And of course, as the banner dissipates, I think we are able to resume. As for SKADE, this is going to be interesting with a couple of deagles spread around this deagle and M4. See what they can do in the defense.
Ooh. Denny not getting so lucky with the flick there as he tries to get that pick on long. has to fall away. Back down to middle. Zorte on the boost, looking into lower tunnels. Oxygen's in trouble if he tries to go for this swing, but it's accompanied by a flash. It's absolutely perfect. They fully anticipate the fact that that AWPer maybe would be boosting on that angle. And whilst they're not able to find the kill, they live to tell the tale. Flit trades one. Oxygen's still there, though. The nade rains in. Fair bit of damage dealt. Flit going in like a madman. Kenzie pushing him from long. And all of a sudden, this one's kind of been dismantled. 4 versus 2. The 4 spies working out nicely. SKADE do have the bomb site, but they're heavily outnumbered.
This is really where their testament of aim supremacy has to come in, doesn't it? As Rainwaker is ready for the swing, we've got ships above window, means that he absolutely can be punished for being in this angle. As a volley lands right on him, that's a tough position for him. He's instantly killed. Rainwaker left in the 1 versus 3, and as they start swinging into him, Kenzie, he too's taken down though. 1v1 for him now, as Zorte has to swing out. That bomb continuing to tick down as well as Zorte swings to the other side. Rainwaker hoping for timing, and he gets it! Rainwaker, an insane round by him there to bring SKADE their 5th. And well, that is definitely a flashy way to start this series. Look at the odds for our partners at Pinnacle. They're about even. They're still how they were before. I like how that would be. Well, it hasn't really changed anything.
Rainwaker, the man
Flit died to his own molly.
Yet to die. Oh, he did. Oh my goodness. I was wondering where that extra man went. It was a 1-on-3, and then all of a sudden it just went down to the 1-on-2. Flit had taken a lot of damage earlier in the round, so I mean, I just that is mad. That is mad how that's happened. Either way, though, as I say, Rainwaker currently going 5-0. So are his team. As they send it up short. I mean, the 4 spy was relatively successful from forZe. They've done a lot of damage there, but when you're as quick as that, oh my, that is rough. That was a very fast shot from Rainwaker.
That is just, I mean, what a way to start. Only saw He2's able to hit some nice shots as well. I think SKADE, they're here to really deliver, Josh. And for Jerry, I mean, this is starting to look a bit like a stomp, Josh. I wasn't expecting this at all.
Yeah, nor was I. Also, just to jump back, right, in the pregame, I said about Almazer AWPing. I knew it wasn't Almazer. I just couldn't remember the name. It's SeaPower. SeaPower used to AWP here for forZe.
Yeah.
He was wicked. He was a really, really good AWPer. I was always massively impressed with him. He's gone now. He plays for Bank of Pepsi with Face Crack. So, at least I think he plays for Bank of Pepsi with Face Crack. Yeah, he does. So, we've now got Zorte picking up this sniper role. Still a very, very, very capable AWPer. But for me, I haven't seen as much of him. I'm still kind of learning the ropes of how he plays. A little timeout coming on once again. SKADE. They should be pretty happy right now. I mean, they should be pretty happy with how this is going. They've been playing very, very good Counter-Strike.
This is an insane position for SKADE here. I mean, even if they really lose all bar one of the remaining rounds and it goes 8-7, they've done enough. Like, granted they wouldn't have much momentum, but for Flit, that opening, maybe it just preserves some hope for them. Jerry onto ships as well, makes me think that SKADE maybe getting a little too ballsy to go in one at a time here. As Kenzie goes up short, he'll be joined by Zorte. SKADE instead prepare their attack from long. They do so with getting Rainwaker. With no one really fighting them on long, the main thing to worry about will be this AK of Jerry. With only one smoke to cross as well. Then he still needs to make sure he doesn't fall. So, inch forward. Desperately trying to get to the site, but look at forZe's rotation. They know exactly what's happening here. They've got a perfect read on it, and the second any of them show themselves, this is where they really have trouble. As they still peeks into Zorte, it should be a quick kill for him. But no, it's a missed shot. Denny's got uncharacteristic there. And duplicate he swings despite that smoke being on. Wow, that's a messy round by SKADE. There was that smoke on Denny's floor. He throws it all the way to site rather than for the cross.
Oh, wow.
That's a bit of a misplay. It's a really big misplay, actually.
Well, the Deagles managed to prevail somehow. Through all of this, through all of the buy-ups that forZe have gone for, they've been unsuccessful. As soon as they pull out the pistols, That's where they make it happen. We see that trusty banner popping up. I know we've talked about it a lot, folks, throughout the tournament so far, but they're fantastic. Trustly, one of the partners making this all possible, and they're a fantastic payment system to use and check out. When using anything, to be honest, but definitely when you're placing your bets at Pinnacle. They're no registration required, no cards, no setup, anything like that. It's super simple and super safe, so make sure you check them out. Round number 8. Buy up once again here for SKADE. They don't have too much money behind them, despite the fact they won 6 rounds in a row. It's been quite a costly reinvestment. Remember that 1v4, or 1v3 technically, from Rainwaker. They took a lot of damage in that round. But an A execution might be what they need.
Also, scoped in. He's almost baiting them into swinging onto him. They haven't yet. Jerry tries to cross. Ship sees him. Then he still gets the kill, though. And now with the man advantage, Zorte on long. Scoped in. He's almost daring them to swing into him. No one has yet, though. Instead, as they back off. Rainwaker to join his teammate on Gandalf there, realizing that there's 2 players there. He said has to aggress, but then he's not awaiting it, gets that first kill. Duplicate onto Zorte there, shuts down the AWP, as does Almeza full. And well, Kenzie, I mean, sure he shuts down Denny's Law, but it may not matter at this stage. He tries to run, tries to get the hell out of there. As he's seen, he's pursued, and he's killed. SKADE, they go 7-1 up now as this turns into a very, very one-sided game.
Yeah, that's a really, really good round recovery. To falter against the Deagles, to almost give your opponents false hope, give them some money to invest, and then snatch it right back away. Take the reins once again. They're going to be happy with that, and they should be. 7-1, double up setup in play here for forZe, but if they don't win this round, they're certainly out of cash, and then they're in a bit of trouble.
Absolutely are for now. SKADE, they commit to this fight. To make a bit of noise in titles, but Flitz, there's the opening on mid. Ships really struggling getting out mid at the moment as Flit continues to hold it. He was able to fall to Jerry earlier. And SKADE prepared to leave tunnels. Oxygen will be spearheading this attack. Fully blinded. Flit forced out of position though. Continues to deploy the odd bit of util to save a bit of space. And well, it's Flit's AWP to draw blood. And mollies and smokes mean that there can't really be a follow-up. But for SKADE, the bomb plant would be a saving grace here, but this time 1v4 may not be possible, especially when forZe have all of this util and all of this weaponry. As the smokes get deployed, it's actually a molly straight into Oxygen once again, though. And it's sort of hard clearing titles. Little does he know there's a player coming from T-Spawn. Fully blinded, Oxygen still can't kill Jerry. He has to go for the reload. Instead, Denny's good for 1. There's Kenzie to trade. Goes into the 2-on-4, and for Rainwaker, beautiful spray transfer there. Insane crosshair placement. How on earth Rainwaker got those kills is insane. It leaves it all on to Flit in a 1v2. Oxygen swings into him, does a fair bit of damage there as he tries to pursue the running away member. And like that, SKADE go 8-1 up. What a round that was by Rainwaker.
Yeah, another incredible one where he steps up. He seems to be the clutch man, doesn't he? The one that steps up when needed. He still only died once. Look at this. I mean, you'd expect him to have more cash, bearing in mind that his teammates have died 5 or 6 times each. He's going 8-1. It really proves that he is the clutch player. Look at that. That is such an incredible... I wouldn't even necessarily call it a spray transfer. He's kind of reset in the middle. Maybe a lucky stray bullet that's hit the second head, but either way, it feels controlled to me. forZe, quick timeout. Maybe that timeout gives us a little bit of time to talk about our partners at Pinnacle. Of course, folks, if you think you know your stuff, head over to pinnacle.com/odds. Find the latest in-play offerings for SKADE versus forZe that's going on right now, or any other odds for the Pinnacle Cup as well. There's plenty of other games still to be played, and a variety of other markets. Pinnacle are running a promotion right now where if you bet €10 on esports, you get €10. You have to be a new customer and sign up using code CUP21 at pinnacle.com/welcome. And remember, betting should be done in a fun and safe environment. Only bet what you can afford, and full terms and conditions apply. They're available on the website if you want to take a read through them. Round number 10 underway. forZe, they've gone for a buy, but look at the utility. There's hardly any of it.
Look at those smokes being thrown by Denny's there. What a smoke that was to land on doors. That was insane. SKADE, they continue to hit onto this site. Almaze takes a lot of damage. Kenzie's able to trade as well. Another 3-on-5 now. Rainwaker this time reveals himself. Good for two. Rainwaker. Such a strong game from him right now. Zorta sees the rotation to short, and as these flashes land in mid, they'll be able to cross. Oxygen is taken down, though, at least for now, as there's Rainwaker eventually quelled. Then he saw a missed shot punished by Almaze, as forZe make it 2, but Rainwaker, he is an animal right now, Josh.
Yeah, what has he had for breakfast this morning? This has been a really crazy game for him so far. The fact that he's got that double kill with the MAC-10 is just incredible. Really, really awesome stuff. Now I'm a little bit worried for forZe. They've pulled out a triple AWP setup, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Dust 2 is available. I feel like you can put one towards B, one towards long, and then one on the A site, or maybe aggressive on short. But this is a pretty crazy setup right now, and they could certainly be punished for it. This is an expensive setup too. If it doesn't work out, it's a lot of wasted money.
He hides in place. As Mollies are deployed, Flip realizing that an attack's coming, but Jerry's there to support him. Good for one, Flip for the second, and as Oxygen's taken down, it looks like forZe have adapted really well to how SKADE have been playing. Rainwaker, while he swings out, it's not even to his death. Rainwaker able to adjust just down Kenzie, swinging into an AWPer, proven to be suicidal. As Flip finishes the job, it falls into this 1v4 for Dennis Thor. AWP in hand, no money behind it. I'd love to see him save here.
Maybe the triple AWP setup wasn't required. Just one on Flip does the job nicely. Still got a minute left, though, to save, so this is going to be really difficult. He spots the foot. Zorte not peeking out wide enough, though, to be punished. Then he needs to be very careful right now. It'd be so tempting to just hold that door angle, wait for the peek to come in, but then he's vulnerable from B tunnels, he's vulnerable from long. Doing a good job of just remaining aware that they could peek from any angle. Now he faces back into mid, though. They spot each other, and Zorte says, I don't want any more to do with this. I've got an AWP, I don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to go and hide. Let him hold on to this. See if he aggresses, walks into Almaze. This could certainly happen right now. I'm not sure what Denny's doing here, to be honest. This could be a really big mistake, and it is. I mean, are you saving, or are you not saving? I feel like he would have been safe if he'd have just stayed in spawn. I think when he was spotted, he was maybe worried that he was going to be hunted, but yeah, that wasn't the right call to make.
Yeah, that was a really tough one, actually, from Dennis Thor there to fall. And as we move into this next round, this is 12th round, I'm really interested to see if there is any response from SKADE, because they, in the last maybe 5 rounds or so, they've seemed really, really shaky. It seems like they've been winning by a hair's breadth rather than winning convincingly. As forZe prepare the re-engagements, they prepare the follow-up. Kenzie hiding by tunnels, flashed off the angle. Flick can't fight them, but neither can Kenzie, but no one clears him. Kenzie's good for 1, 2. Traded by Denny Snore means that there's hope for them, but reality is this is still a dicey predicament for the members of SKADE. Despite the fact it is a forced buy, they still really want to win this, and Oxygen might be able to guarantee a bomb plant. It may help their endeavors. There's all 3 AWPs in a retake now, Josh. It's interesting to see this many AWPs, but we'll see if it works for them. And what a certainly will if Oxygen swings into them like that.
Denny, I feel like this situation's semi-winnable, but not when you're whiffing like that. Zorte spots him out and takes him down. That was 3 AWPs on the retake, but yeah, they still prevail. Works out nicely. They keep them all alive. They actually swap one out for the AK. I like that. You can't keep running a triple AWP setup. That's a 1 or 2 time thing. Yeah, you can't just keep running it 4, 5 rounds in a row. Yeah. Then your opponents really will start to adapt. They'll go for something a little bit faster with the flashes, and then you're just screwed. 8-4 forZe. They are really starting to pull this half back, but as you mentioned earlier on, they kind of allowed SKADE a few too many at the start. So even if they pull back the next 3 in a row, even if they kind of play their hearts out right now, they're still playing for an average half.
Oxygen pieces alert. You see that there are a few players there. Instead, SKADE, they seem to be pummeling this B site when the reality is most of their successes come from long. As the attack comes through, there's Kenzie for the first, goes for the second, out of ammo though, as Duplicate finished the job. Zorte, he attempts his hand at a swing. This time Rainwaker expects it. As he falls, it goes to a man advantage there. Ships aggressing means that the bomb, well, it is put in danger. It is saved nonetheless. For Jerry, this is a player back flat. Duplicate is going to have to eat that nade. Doesn't kill him though, as it keeps it relatively even. Only before Jerry will shut him down. Falls into the 2-on-3 as Almeza gets ready to swing out. Timing does not favour him at all. Rainwaker shuts down Jerry as Jerry gets the kill. Leaving it all onto Almeza in a 1v2. Ships takes the fight anyway, and like that, we have SKADE go 9-4 up.
Yes, SKADE give forZe a taste of their own medicine with the Deagle round win. And, well, that's always the risk when you're running a couple of orbs. Admittedly, they weren't running 3 that round. They dropped down to the 2, but still a multi-orb setup. When the pistols come at you fast and hard, it only takes one whiff shot. That's what we saw from Zorte. One missed shot, and that's it. He's overwhelmed, and they can continue to press forward, get in the faces of those AWPers, and win those fights with the Deagles and Tech 9s. Really, really good round there from SKADE. This is now a fantastic half for them, even if they lose the next 2. But there's still a chance that they could find more than this.
There's a chance, isn't there? Zorte shuts down Ships, gives a bit of an opening. No trade yet, though. Oh, he's just able to get away, Denny, so he doesn't get it. The fact he's able to get away there is insane. As he's now going to be able to reface from sight. They'll be peeking into Denny's Law. Well, Denny's Law hasn't been forced to fight yet. He may be very well soon, as that flash, it whiffs massively. Now they have to deploy the smokes. Flit will be able to swing off the back of this, and it's looking fairly dicey for right now for SKADE, as these utility continue to be peppered. We go for the run boost. I mean, sure, it may help, but see if Dennis's able to abuse it. Jumps across. Ooh. Zorte shuts him down in midair. He can't quite hit the double dip, but Almeza's there to support him. I like that. forZe make it 5, and I actually rate forZe to win this map. I think SKADE are looking really shaky now.
They haven't looked as good as they were at the start, have they? I said that they came into this ultra prepared. In the first sort of 7 or 8 rounds, they knew exactly what they were doing. Every single round, it was very coordinated. Now, you're right, it's been messy. So many of these rounds have either lost a couple of early players and been not sure what to do, or they've found an opening pick and then kind of stagnated a little bit. In that pistol round that they did end up winning a couple prior, it was just down to the fact that they just went fast and overwhelmed forZe. They capitalized on a couple of whiff shots. Right now, they go for another force, but it's shaky. Duplicate and Oxygen only down to the Desert Eagles. Rainwaker on a Galil. The utility usage is beautiful. He allows Oxygen in, finds himself an AUG, and well, that's one of the pistols upgraded.
forZe up. With a man down, they do hide on these sites. The only man who's got out of a sight is going to be Almeza over in pit. But of course, with that A1S, it's not really a weapon used for fighting up long. I'd rather see his position swapped with Zorte, but it won't stop SKADE. You now get a position for an execution up short. Smokes deployed, flashes to follow. As they do so, Zorte has been flashed off the angle. He hasn't been able to fight yet, but now he can. Rainwaker, the first casualty of this endeavor. He's got some more smokes of his own to deploy so he can continue fighting. And while Denny Slop is almost baiting him into swinging, his teammates just all fall. Denny Slop missed shot by him there, a bit of a whiff. Ships, sorry, not Sense, they were in the wrong game. Ships is able to follow it up onto Kenzie. And like that, we now have a rotation to be, but as Flit falls to Ships, suddenly this is looking pretty strong for him. That flash means he can risk another swing, and while Almeza is fully blinded in the time being, Ships goes huge there, making it 4, and while SKADE hit 10, it's the thing, they're hitting these rounds, they're landing these rounds off of individual prowess. 2 of them because of Rainwaker, 1 of them because of Ships, and honestly, if you'd remove those 3 rounds, they'd be 8-7 down, and I actually really rate forZe here because SKADE, while their individual prowess is huge and while they are individually having some insane plays, their teamwork isn't there, and you could only have an individual play so many times.
Honestly, this round from SKADE was atrocious. At the start, the way that it went, the way that they were losing men, Denny missing his AWP shots as well, I thought there was no way. There was no way in hell they were going to take this, but Ships on the flank does all the dirty work. Finds himself 4 incredible kills. That last was just beautiful as well. Only a couple of bullets left in the clip, and he finds the 1-tap. 10-5. I agree with you. I think forZe have still got a good chance of winning this map. My only issue is that maybe they've let SKADE have a few too many. SKADE are pretty close to this finish line right now, and it only takes a couple of mistakes from forZe, and it's too far gone.
Oh, really nice start to pistol around there as Oxygen shuts down too. Flitty does trade as Oxygen, maybe overstays his welcome a little bit, but the reality is it still works for him. Now, Ships over in mid. He hasn't heard the players push short, so he knows full well that long is really going to be the true destiny of the attack, other than potentially hit to B. There's Duplicate, taps out the first member. There's the first kill. There's the second. It's all on to Flit in a 1v4. And like that, he cowers and he waits by blue, knowing full well that the members of SKADE are going to be able to take a straight fight with him any second now. As Flit tries to follow it up. There's Duplicate to finish the job, and SKADE, they then make it 11-5.
That's a big pistol round. Really nice start from Oxygen, and then the follow-up as well towards long was just fantastic. And that's what I mean. I mean, it only takes forZe to slip up a couple like that. The pistol round, one of the worst to be losing in this kind of scenario as well. And SKADE might just be able to snatch the map away. They're in a strong position now where they've got the money, they've got the momentum. forZe only down to the Deagles. If they lose this one, unless we see something funky like 4 kills in a bomb plant, then they're almost certainly going to be down to an eco. That will give SKADE a ticket on to 13. And that is dangerously close to where they want to be. Oxygen peeking into lower. No one facing for now. Instead, it's going to be a hit towards long. But as Ships gets aggressive in tunnels, he finds the lurker. That's perfect.
Tell you what, it looks like SKADE have found their rhythm again. Now they've swapped sides, and luckily so, because I think if they were continuing to struggle, forZe would have punished it instantly. Now with a man advantage, that he's sort of continuing to miss shots, but he is slowing the attack. As the nades continue to land by these members of forZe, they are just forced back further still. The flash is just completely delaying the push. Look at the rotation. Every single member of SKADE here is ready for the attack, and the ship swings out. They should be able to shut down Almeza. He does just that. He doubles down onto Zorte, and for Ships, starting to wake up here, and that is really where it gets scary.
Absolutely, yeah, and Ships is utilizing his role perfectly. We see Ships so many times, actually on both sides as well, going for these lurk plays. We didn't see it too much in the early game. Now in the later rounds, when, as you said before, SKADE have had some difficulties, Ships has said, right, well, I'm going to go for my lurking role. I'm going to get aggressive when I'm holding, and I'm going to get behind them. That's what he did in the final round of the half over towards the B site, wrapping around in CT. That's what he's done there again. Pushed right into the B tunnels, and yeah, just done really well there. Down to the pistols once again. It's forZe. No Kevlar behind it this time round. No utility either. So just looking to maybe do a little bit of damage. And damage they've dealt. Then he's fallen early. They could maybe get a bomb plant here. That's what they're trying to do. Fake it out a little bit. Flit over towards the B tunnels. Hoping he can win the duel onto Rainwaker and maybe get that C4 tapped in. For now, though, no chance for it.
Ships on the jump spot. He sees Zorte there as well. And as Jerry continues to hide, we've got forZe who go for a brief rotation. Rain wake up. He knows that they're going to be on B. He can't risk the fight yet, though, as SKADE continue to poise themselves for an attack onto A. Ships hoping for maybe timing in mid here, and, well, he's blessed with it. Flits, though, punishes him for it. Gets that kill and will retrieve that M4. And now it all falls down to Rain wake up to go huge on this B defense. He did so time and time again in the afterplan. Can he do so now? Was he expects to jump up. In fact, he just doesn't clear mid. He just dives the mid. That was a massive miscom on SKADE's part.
Yeah, has nobody called it, or has he just got a bad read there? Maybe he's thinking they're going to be coming in from tunnel, and he's just not expecting that one at all. That's really bizarre. Either way, it might just cost them the round. This is an eco for forZe, a round that they have no equity in, and one that SKADE realistically need to be winning. And looks like it's not going to go their way. Dink's dealt, Duplicate low, one spotted towards Carl, but it's not facing. It's perfectly played from Kenzie, and Jerry's going to swing out and finish off Oxygen. 12-6. I have no idea how forZe managed to pull that one off, but it's a series of mistakes made by SKADE.
I'm really surprised by SKADE there. That was a massive misplay, and here's the thing. They're not, like, systematically making rounds that doom them. It's just lots of small things that are continuously stacking up now. Whereas there's misplays here, you know, massive whiffs here, and, well, they won't lose them the game. They give forZe a lot of confidence, remembering that we're still on SKADE's map pick.
Oh, the aggression might work out this time. Oxygen right up short. Needs to be careful not to overstay his welcome here. I understand that he doesn't want to fall back just yet, but if he re-aggresses, it might be to his detriment. Timing just about blesses him as Flick crosses round to B. Oxygen, this could actually be perfect. He's timed this very, very well indeed. There's no way that they're expecting him to creep in from behind. Bearing in mind, he took the engagement, fell right away. Jerry, just in the nick of time, spins, though. Back into a 4-on-4, and Oxygen, he's going to be kicking himself that he's pushed all the way through that. Look at Flick's position, though. This could be deadly.
Ships. Oh, he isn't cleared. This is going to be deadly, and it may be deadly for more than one as he starts his flank up short. Makes a bit of noise. Ships, he's killed now. It alerts the rest of the members as to what's coming. As Jerry goes back in long, this bomb may be quelled, and that it is. There's the first. There's not the second. Denny slot, another whiff by him. Means that for duplicate, as he hides on Goose. Flip makes some noise as he hard clears him. It's Brainwaker to get the first. Duplicate to trade into the 1v1. Kenzie with the 1v2. Delivers forZe their 7th. As SKADE move into the 12-7 mark. 5 rounds separating the 2 of them. And it's still looking pretty dire for them. Remember, as the Trusty banner appears on your screen, remember to use Trusty. Of course, Trusty, essentially a way to make payments. Of course, there's no cards, app download, or registration. You can try making payments with Trusty over at pinnacle.com/odds, where you find the latest in-player offerings for SKADE versus forZe. Always remember, though, that sports should be fun, so only play with what you can afford. And to keep safe, our full terms and conditions will apply. Remember, that's pinnacle.com/odds. For SKADE, Eco now as they rush into tunnels. Maybe they'll be able to catch out on AK here to wield.
Yeah, they're wrapping all the way around the back. forZe seems to have no idea, but bearing in mind it's only USPs, I can't imagine we see too much damage. Kenzie, I think, may have just heard them. No? He's not turned around. Oh, wow. Okay, right. We might actually see a kill here. He spots out one in T-spawn. There we go. Now he's been alerted that they can be wrapped around. All the steps are made, and Kenzie does some damage. He does eventually fall. A dink in place. Flit needs to be careful now, and Jerry comes in to support. So, only one kill found. Kind of your break-even mark for a full eco round like that. forZe close the gap. There's only 4 in it now.
It's looking pretty strong for the members of forZe, and here's the thing, it's not that anyone's playing particularly well. I mean, Flit's hitting some fairly nice shots. It's more SKADE are making a lot of mistakes. And when you have this sort of level of play, consistency comes before high talent, if that makes sense. forZe, we know they're good. They don't have to be insane. They just need to be a little bit more consistent than SKADE. And as they continue to punish them, Jerry, that's fast. Almeza punishes Steady Sword, knowing that aggression comes on short. And like that, SKADE inherently in a 3-on-5.
That is not the start you're looking for. Not in a buy round like this. Oxygen needs to try and pick up the pieces here a little bit. If he can find another kill on short, might level out these numbers. Duplicate here to support him. That smoke grenade just not giving him the sightline he needs. As it starts to fade, though, he might be in a very, very dangerous position. Oxygen's fallen off down to CT. I'm not sure if he meant to do so, but as Flip flies out and gets 2, I think Oxygen's probably next on the menu. Might have just got the timing right, hits the close shot, but he still has 3 to find, and I don't see it happening.
Oxygen, he sees that member above him. He can't commit to the fight, though, as it falls into this 3-on-1. As Oxygen, he hides, he prays he isn't taken down, but the reality is, as they await for this attack, he's going to have to desperately cling to this sword, platibulating in CT spawn as he clings to that pink DD plat. However, it may not matter. The Zorta swings into an execution, and for forZe, they now make it 9. 3 rounds separate these 2 sides, and for SKADE, they might start sweating a bit here. It's a cool word, isn't it, Josh? Platibulating.
Yeah, what is it? Give me a grammar definition.
It's to hide in a corner and wait for the conditions to improve.
Oh, yeah, you've told me this before, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool word. I really like it.
It is a cool word. You see those odds right there? They've really shaped up. They're now pretty much dead even.
Yeah. There's another cool quote that I want to try and find soon, which is that tyrants, they're just governments that get stuff done. And, well, in this case, forZe are proving to reign a bit of a tyranny over SKADE, aren't they?
I suppose. I mean, we're seeing an eco in play where SKADE have actually just managed to find the opening kill. I'm not sure if that means the round's in contention just yet. But it's a good start. It's a very, very good start. And a couple of lucky Giga shots might turn the tides here. Unfortunately, the duplicate, it can't be found. But there's the USP wreaking further havoc. And the man advantage still retained here for SKADE.
Really nice start from them. We see the follow-up coming, though, was through the smoke, a lot of damage. Started zorte. That's down both members with Flit shut down Oxygen. It's on to Rainwaker. And like that, we're going to see a 3-on-1. Rainwaker reveals himself. He deploys that smoke to maybe hide behind. It might give him something to work with. But Flit, I think this will be a pretty quick kill for him. As the swing comes, and like that, kenZe should quickly and summarily shut him down. That's messy, but he still dies in the end.
Yeah, 12-10. This is really starting to close now. I think this is really anybody's game for the taking. forZe could certainly pull this off. This buy round right here for SKADE, I don't want to say it means everything, so it doesn't quite mean everything, but it means a fair bit. If they lose it, then they lose control. The scoreline ties up. forZe would have plenty of money behind them, and that's where things start to get a bit dicey. If they win it, then they're still in the picture. zorte holding right now, flicks up, narrowly misses, but with Jerry bursting out long, he's got some jewels to take.
Yeah, ready for a follow-up. Jerry hides for now, but Rainwaker to be taken down. There's a flank on short, and it's just another collapse onto SKADE. Denny Slaw, the last left standing in this 1 versus 5, and once again, he just has to hide.
When the margins get this thin as well, this is where you start to get tilted about previous rounds. When they lost the eco, the 3rd round here in the 2nd half, that shouldn't have happened. That definitely shouldn't have happened. Yep. And as I say, when you're sort of 6-7 rounds ahead, it's very easy to brush off. You can just say, yeah, that's fine. It's like 12-5. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, when the margins really start to close, that's when you really think to yourself, wow, we could have really done with an extra round here. In fact, it would actually be 2, wouldn't it? Because forZe wouldn't have one. They'd have another. Denny desperately trying to hold on to this AWP right now. In doing so, he might be able to buy into the next, but he does eventually fall. They really do expend all of their manpower to take care of him. Because for forZe, they're actually breaching into the max bonus right now. zorte's on 13k.
I'm really worried about this side of SKADE right now. They look shaken. I love the fact they've called a timeout because, frankly, they need one. While we are on the topic of this timeout, though, as you see, for a moment there, I believe it was a Trusty banner that appeared on your screen. So remember, we'll talk about Trusty once, we'll talk about it again. Of course, speed is the name of the game. Don't let your playing experience be disrupted by slow payments. Of course, you can choose Trusty to make your payments slow quickly from account to account. With no cards, app download, or registration, you can try making payments for Trusty. This is where it ties in, Josh, at pinnacle.com/odds. We'll find the latest in-play offerings for forZe versus SKADE here. Of course, remember that sports should be fun, so only play with what you can afford, and to keep safe, our full terms and conditions do apply. Remember, that's pinnacle.com/odds. Who do you rate to win this, Josh?
If you'd have asked me 15 minutes ago, I'd have said SKADE. Based on what we've seen here, I think I'm actually going to go with forZe right now. They're looking like the better side here now that they've got a bit of momentum behind them. SKADE have come into this game in bursts. There was quite a big burst at the start. We saw a little one going into the 2nd half, but Jerry, oh my god, they're back to back. They've not realized each other. Surely, now he's fired shots. Jupiter spins around, but he's gone around the corner. Oxygen wins the fight anyway, but that is awkward. That is very awkward. Almeza will be able to trade, so it comes back into a 4-on-4, and it seems like forZe have taken control of this round once again. But that is messy.
Again, a really, really messy round. This has turned into a bit of what we thought would be a bit of a boxing match. It's now just a bar fight, isn't it? As we've got Duplicate over in Esports. I think he's been seen there. Well, he definitely has now his shot flits, and as he goes and rotates to long, actually opts to go back to Palm, and as he swings out, it was a nice kill onto him, sure, but with the bomb already down and in a 1v3, the reality is these are silver linings for him.
I wonder if new players to the game just sit there and wonder what we mean when we give old callouts. There's not even a palm tree there anymore.
It's still palm pole. So we call it barrels?
No, I don't think we should change the name. It's just there's all sorts of things. It's like tree on Inferno and stuff. There's not a tree there anymore.
Or car on Inferno. It's just barrels now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's rubbish. Yeah. It's not a very good car. It doesn't even drive.
Goose. I don't know if the graffiti's still there on Goose.
I think it still says Goose. Oh, actually, maybe it doesn't, thinking about it.
Yeah. It's wild to think that. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Most of the people watching would know what we're saying. So we have all of these like old audience that have kind of grown up with us.
Yeah. I think Counter-Strike need to leave this stuff in, though. If it doesn't say Goose on Goose anymore, they need to make it say Goose.
I hope Dinosaur sees it, checks it for us. Yeah, sod playing. This is more important. As he goes back to CT, you'll hear the players rotate above him. He's going to have trouble trying to fight them, though, when as he backs off, scopes back into short. No engagement yet, though, as his flashes go off. He's fully blinded. He tries to run away in the process. He flicks up, flits with an insane shot. This is all terrain Waker. He's mollied out of position, and at this point, he may just have to run and eventually die.
I want to watch someone on site. See if it still says Goose. He has to save it. There's no way he goes for this. He's 48 HP. It's a 3-on-1. There you go. Tuck himself behind the door. Duck and roll. Almeza will be hunting, though. Of course, these guys got so much money. Zorte is now on 16k, so he quite literally has nothing to lose. And that's very scary. A man like him with nothing to lose, definitely someone to fear. I'd love to see just a spam through this door at the end. It's such a common save position. You just rub salt in the wound if you just got a headshot through the door.
It would be. It would be in sort of in June, wouldn't it? And
oh, wow.
Oh, it almost happened. I'd have been so happy if we saw that there. Of course, at 30-12, look at the win streak forZe have accumulated here. This is a insane position for these members of forZe, and isn't that has kind of occurred to me? Is forZe sponsored by an oil company? Is it Luck Oil?
Surely not. I'm gonna have a look.
If so, that is insane. No wonder they had a huge buyout on Z-Power. Yes,
it is. They're an oil and gas company. One of the largest oil and gas companies in the world.
Wow. No wonder they have so much. No wonder. This makes so much sense. That's insane.
Yeah, they're a Russian energy corporation.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
That is actually so cool. Well, anyway, as we move into a yeah, they have like oil rigs dotted around the place and everything. As the bomber goes down in a 5-on-3, once again, we have SKADE saving, this time together on the B site, and we'll see if forZe try to hunt them. Bear in mind that it's only a scout deagle. It's not really worth a hunt. Maybe getting the M4 would help, but that's really about it for now.
Well, another great round here from forZe. And they're showing no mercy. No mercy whatsoever. They are really hunting right now. Denny trying to stay alive with this scout. The boost, though, it's perfect. Brilliant flash, and look at how good that is. That is unreal. I'm
lost for words. That was an insane position. And now, it's forced to go 14-12 up. I worry, Josh, that this could be the start of the end for SKADE. Granted, the start of the end was kind of in the latter stages of the first half, while they started leaving rounds really messy. And here's the thing. If forZe win this map, which is looking very likely, they need to find a way to recover and to kind of reconcile before we even touch Mirage, and that can be really hard to do in what is only about a 10-minute break.
Yeah, it always is. We kind of talk about it as these players are very experienced. They've played a lot of this kind of CS now, this online era where they're just very used to playing a series and having sort of 10 minutes between the maps to reset, and that's not even taking into account the fact that they've actually got to like connect to the server and all of that stuff. I think these guys have probably become pretty accustomed to it, but it's still rough. It's really difficult. Yeah, when you have like a great start to a game, then everything starts to fall apart. You go from being 12-5 up to losing what is about to potentially be 10 rounds in a row and end up losing the game. Yeah, you need a bit more than 10 minutes to kind of mentally reset off of that one.
You're absolutely right. Danny Stott legs down. Kenzie swings in, gets that first kill, and with Duplicate also being quelled, it falls down to Rainwaker and Ships in a 2v4 now. A really tough position for them, and well, these rifles now suddenly really matter, because if they don't have these, they're not having them for what would be potentially the final round.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another safe call. There's nothing they can do, so they fall right away. I get it, I agree with it, but it's got to be heartbreaking. It really has.
You know, there's something cool as well.
Go on.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Lukoil is also like state funded by the Russian government.
Ah.
So, in my opinion, now forZe now represents the Russian Federation in all games.
Fair enough. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole as well. The owner of it is the Forbes 66th richest man in the world. He's worth 25 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine if we put all of that into
almost as much
forZe.
as me.
Almost as much, a bit less than us. Because we all know how much bank we make as casters.
I wish. Man, what would you do with 25 billion? I would.
You're at the stage where you kind of giggle and accidentally lose $1 million under the sofa or something.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah, shrug it off. I feel like at that stage, though, interest as well makes you just untouchable. Like, you're never going to lose it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's nuts.
I worked out how toll roads worked the other day.
Oh,
I didn't realise they were just privately owned
by
people, and that the government don't touch them. And you can just, if you're super rich, you can just buy a road and then put loads of like toll tax on it and make loads of money. It's crazy. Anyway, back to the game.
Back to the game. Yes, down a rabbit. You went down a rabbit hole, didn't you, Josh? Rainwaker. 20 HP as the molly really damages him there, but there's still a man up over on SKADE. While they still don't have the firepower, they do have the power in numbers, and as they get ready for a hit on to B, so Rainwaker will be the man to try and stop them.
There's a good angle here for Rainwaker, but he needs to make sure he hits his shots, and I don't think he's going to be able to get away with it without being flashed. Good one over the top. That one doesn't quite blind him. The second one does ever so slightly, but not before he fires off the first. Second found, flicked through the smoke, doesn't quite connect, but he's still alive and kicking. Finally, Jerry trades it with a beautiful headshot, but I feel like Rainwaker's done enough damage here. He's done his job, he's done it admirably, and it's left Flit all alone, toasty toes. Then he finishes off the job, and he goes 15-13. SKADE, they stay alive, but only by a thin, thin thread.
With 2 rounds separating the two of these two sides, I mean, SKADE, at long last, they hit a round, but that's, I think they've lost, was it 8, 9 in a row before that even happens? I mean...
it's actually 10.
It's 10 rounds in a row they've lost. So, the fact is, even if they are able to follow it up, the loss of momentum has to be astronomical. And here's the thing, this is their map pick. The fact it's come this close as well is just going to be soul-crushing for them. And as we see forZe get ready to push into long, grenades land right on top of them as, well, and Dennis all good for the first. Jerry to trade oxygen now. What can he do? Well, a fair bit as he shuts down Jerry. He's got Duplicate to support him as well, but Zorte almost daring Duplicate to swing off the back of this. And as oxygen's good for another, there's the trade. Is there a follow-up? Yes, there is. 2-on-2 now, when with the bomb retrieved. forZe, the map is their oyster as they prepare an attack to either of these sides.
forZe just seem to have this incredible ability to turn a 4-on-2 in their opponent's favor into a 2-on-1 in theirs, just in a matter of seconds. Incredible stuff. And it looks like it might be the game closer, unless Rainwaker can clutch up again. Big kill to find onto Almeza. That drops the bomb, but he doesn't want to stick around and defend it. He's going for an interesting wraparound. Now, the silver lining here for SKADE is that even if Rainwaker doesn't clutch this, they're on Mirage next. It's statistically one of their best maps, and he's still got a good shot at it. But right now, he wants to stay alive. He wants to take his time to OT. Wrapped around all the way. Zorte not expecting to be flanked at all. The timing on him pushing out is pretty perfect, but he needs to tuck himself around. Rainwaker, oh my goodness, this timing is impeccable. Now he fires off the shots. Rainwaker's not been able to kill him. Down to 6 HP. Zorte knows he needs to cross, so there's only 20 seconds left of this round. Throws the molly, has to run to the site. I think he's just about got enough time if he sprints it, but Rainwaker's already made the rotation. He's going to catch him on the cross, and surely it's round over. Oh, no, not again. Oh my goodness, finally Rainwaker makes it happen. But that is going to be butt clenching. That is insane.
I mean, who was really the winner there? Like, Renwick, I mean, sure, it worked. He got the kill, he got the round. I guess he's the winner, but is he really after watching that? That was really dire. I mean, Kills with Almazer, it was great, but this ending was, it was rough, to say the least, Josh.
I didn't even want to see the 2 kills there. I wanted to see the 2 whiffs.
Yeah.
The first one, I don't even think was that bad. He just got timinged a little bit there on long. Yeah. The second one on the cross, though, that is nerves. That is definitely nerves. But luckily for him, he's able to pull it off. And yeah, for forZe, it's maybe he's kicking himself there that he hasn't tried to go for the kill instead of just dart to the side. But he didn't really have any option. When there's 20 seconds left on the clock, you do just have to go for the plant. The last thing you want to do is time yourself out in a scenario like that. I suppose he did have enough money, but either way, not the play you want to be going for. So 15-14, SKADE, a shot at overtime here. I really wasn't expecting it, to be honest, but we might go the distance.
As forZe attempts to push up short. Almazer on that smoke pin. They get ready for the follow-up, and as the execution comes out now, Dennyslaw, the man called to action. He knows full well that his attack has to merit a kill, and as the flashes are perfect there, Dennyslaw falls to Jerry, while Duplicate does trade on the other side of the smoke. Unfortunately, losing Dennyslaw is going to be a bit of a kick to the teeth. There's that bomb that should go down despite the fire, and that it does. Ships also tagged through the smoke, but still unkilled, as SKADE have a massive commitment to CT now on this retake. The flashes go off as Chips gets ready to head up ramp. He's got the long player to support him, and as these flashes continue to bombard, the AWP scene, Almazer there to get the next kill, though. Rainwaker, second he jumps up, he's in trouble. Almazer traded out. With that, it falls into the 1v2 for Flitz. He sees the first member. He's course out, and like that, Josh, we're going to be going to overtime.
Well, SKADE managed to pull it off. I'm not sure where that was earlier, to be honest. If it had come out a little bit earlier, they could have actually had a shot at taking this one in regulation, but they leave it too late. It seems like they kind of thrive with that lifeline adrenaline. When their opponents are on match point, that's when they play their hearts out. You see that Trustly banner popping up on your screens once again, folks. Remember, if you do want to check out Trustly, then they're a fantastic payment system to be using. Obviously, when speed is the name of the game, don't let your playing experience be disrupted by slow payments. Choose Trustly to make your payments flow quickly from account to account. There's no cards, no app download, no registration required. So it's super simple and yeah, really, really easy to use. So check them out if you're ever depositing here over at Pinnacle. Of course, small gap in the smoke gives kentzy a chance to try and catch out the early man. But for forZe right now, instead of playing for one round, which they've been doing so over the last few, they've now got to win 4.
Oxygen, he's good for 1 before he's traded out there. The fact he's able to get 1 is pretty strong, considering how tough he was and how stuck he was in that position. The mollies force Rainwaker out of position, but for forZe, eventually able to trade, helps for him. Ships waiting for this flank in mid. You know, Split's going to take it. Missed shot, though. Punished by Flitz. Leaves it all on to Dennyslaw. And as Dennyslaw just backs off, he'll head to B. He'll get that plant. And for Dennyslaw, I am really, really worried for him.
You know, these two teams just never cease to surprise me. It's like, as soon as you think you've got a bit of a read on the game, as soon as you think, oh yeah, this team are playing better, this team are looking like they should be able to close it out and whatnot, the other just delivers. So they kind of go back and forth and bounce off of each other. It's not round by round. It's normally in strings and chunks of sort of 4 or 5. But yeah, both teams have really shown up today. Denny in the 1v2. I think he knows that there's one backside. I think he's actually spotted his head. So as he wants to take that duel, trying to bait out the peek, but it's not going to come. Flip knows that he's only going to peek off the contact of his teammate, and Denny knows that there's no way he wins this fight, but finally finds the headshot. Now needs to bait out the shot from forZe, does so perfectly, and as he gets up close and personal, he's trying to close the gap between him and his opponent. If he can do this, then the one tap's on the cards, and he hits it. Denny, my God.
Wow.
It's the new Scream. It's a Bulgarian Scream, I'm telling you. He's got 3 bullets in the clip, and he's tapped them away.
What on earth was that? And a SKADE at 16. Here's the thing. SKADE have played really messy CS. If they win, that's got to be a kick to forZe. Like, they've got to be really... And honestly, I suspect that if SKADE win, in that, what would be timeout, and in that 10-minute break, forZe can sit there and going to seethe. because this absolutely should have been their game. And the fact that SKADE have been playing so messy, but it's been working, is really, really impressive, honestly. With Jerry, he and Oxygen exchange a lot of blows in mid, but with no kill yet, Ships will be the man called to action now as he holds the pixel angle. Flashed off it, though, has to hide, at least for now.
Well, SKADE take the reins again. 16 to 15. forZe might be kicking themselves a little bit about that one. Duplicate with this org on the A site, trying to find a bit of a hybrid angle. One that he's not going to get pre-fired off of. Good smoke. That's going to negate the molly as it lands. Good nade as well. Does some damage, but he's still getting toasty toes from the fire behind him. It's making the noise. The Qs are heard. He's out in the open. There's nothing he can do. And as they continue to trade, forZe yet to get this C4 on the site, but they have taken control of it.
Looking better and better for SKADE there as Rainwaker, he keeps them up. He keeps them ahead as he waits for the smoke of Almeza and buys a bit of space. kenzie, he's got to regress into Ships from ramp. Ships, he knows he's coming as well. But no attack yet. He's been able to finish them off. Denisaur, ready to be boosted up. Ready to be run boosted out as kenzie hits a wonderful shot to start it off. There's the trade by Rainwaker. kenzie to follow it up, though leaves him in the 1v1 with Denisaur. Yorpa, it's a push from CT, but kenzie, a wonderful read there, another 1v2. As forZe equalised, Josh, this game, it couldn't get any closer.
It really couldn't, and it gets me excited for Mirage as well, because as I said before, it's a stronghold map for both sides, slightly favouring forZe. That kind of leans me over towards their side of things when I'm trying to think of a winner, but still definitely anyone's for the taking. Flip with the auto sniper. Knowing it's the last round of the half here in overtime, there's no real reason not to. It's kind of your go-to +2 strat, isn't it? Spam away at the doors. It does it does two things realistically. You either get lucky, you hit a shot through it, and yeah, maybe do some damage, maybe find an early kill, and if you can't pull that one off, then it kind of delays the cross, doesn't it? As a CT side, you never really want to be jumping across when you've got 3 auto snipers spamming, so it leaves your B side
Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back. It's forZe take on SKADE. Of course, we just saw forZe 1916 SKADE over on Dust 2. SKADE now over on their opponent's map pick of Mirage, looking to respond to that loss with a bit of info retrieved, or no info retrieved on B by timing. SKADE think it's clear. forZe now go for the execution. Almeza seen by Oxygen. Rainwaker to draw first blood. Traded by Jerry, though, as the stack returns to the site as they try to engage with Rainwaker. It's messy, and by some miracle, Rainwaker survives for a while before he's taken down. But Ship's still in position, has a lot to worry about. Zorta kills him, leaving Denny's on a duplicate in the 2-on-3. With Kenzie on the duplicate, it's all onto Denny's, so as he backs off, I suspect we will see a save. Of course, I'm your caster Kramer 3. I'm joined by the wonderful J, our producer, of course, the forZe, our observer Skipper, and our admin of Perchy. This wombo combo dream team of 5 are going to help accompany you through the next about 40 minutes or so. Josh, how are you feeling about this one?
I'm feeling good. Is it Natelza? I always thought it was Natella's.
It is Natella's. I'm saying it wrong. I do apologise,
Yeah,
Natella's.
you're rubbish. Rubbish.
I think Natella's sounds pretty cool, to be honest.
It does sound pretty cool, yeah. Maybe you should change it.
Yeah. This is when, in order to get revenge, we have random cuts to our cameras so they can see us.
Yeah. I'm like picking my nose or something.
Yeah. The power he holds over us. That ball will go off forZe. They put themselves on the board with a 1-0 lead. If it's SKADE, the armor save on Denny's certainly helps, so that should mitigate, at least on his part, a little bit of an investment going into what will be their fourth by now for round 2.
Well, a good start. A very good start from forZe. I actually really liked the setup that SKADE went for. It was almost a bit of an anti-strat, but as you say, timing did not bless them one bit, and it really did cost them in terms of that early information that should have been theirs. 1-0. Sketchy buy here for SKADE behind them. Only some deagles and a scout to work with. 2 players crossed over to the right-hand side of window as well. We'll see a boost into Ladderum, so this could be pretty powerful for Denny. If Jerry's not expecting it, there's no way he doesn't clear this, though. I'm right through the smoke. Actually, laser-like precision onto Rainwaker. Takes Denny with down as well. And that is a way to clear mid.
Certainly is. As forZe now with a 2-man advantage. I think that 3-man advantage as Chips does eventually trade onto Flit. Oxygen, he goes through the smoke only to his death. Zorte expecting gets able to deliver. As forZe go 2-0 up, SKADE, here's my worry, they may fall into the exact same trap they fell into on Dust 2, which was they just lost all their momentum, and forZe, they went on, I believe, a 10-11 round win streak. It was insane, and for SKADE, if that happens again to them, I suspect there's no recovery for it.
Essentially so. Full eco and play here for SKADE. 3 nades though, and I'd like to see them deployed. I think they're going to go top mid. There they do, and well, they do a fair bit of damage. Oh, the third one might be deadly. Not quite. It's actually a whiffed grenade on forZe's part there that did the most damage, but either way, nice kill from Ship. So a bit of damage dealt for this eco, but nothing too substantial. Jerry low on health, but he's not part of the action at all. He's kind of cowered away, made sure that he can stay alive, let his teammates do the dirty work, and they're able to do so quite comfortably. 3 on the board here for forZe. They only take 1 casualty in the eco, and they can really shrug that one off.
As forZe, it's just a hit to their, it's a boost to their economy, isn't it? I mean, Almeza, sure, he'll have to pick up, I think a weapon's already been thrown to him, so he'll just have to pick that up. And with about 4k in the bank for 2 of their members, or Jerry already on 6k, I think that they're going to be pretty happy with the grounds they've covered in the first 3. This, however, is, as you mentioned, where it matters. SKADE, you go into this with that orb on Denny's sort, AUG on Oxygen, utility on every member, and with what looks like a bit of a fairly quick B split coming from forZe, with Denny's sort throwing first blood with a very clean kill onto Kenzie, means as Flick comes up from underpass, he's got a bit of a challenge ahead.
Ships. Behind this smoking window, the jump spots over towards B, definitely been heard. You see Zorte on this angle. That's your prime jump spot angle. That's what you hold when you know that someone's about to peek into you. Good molly forces back the jungle players, and there you go, they're straight out of there. Minute left on this clock, forZe. Lots of control, but still this man disadvantage that they need to try and pull back in their favour.
Engagement coming. forZe. The players util early. And with Denny's still holding top con, util doesn't keep him out of position yet, but that's a really well placed smoke. The flash is perfect as well as he now hides behind triple, but Flitz, not expecting a repeat, will mean he too falls, leaving them into now the 2-on-5 with Jerry and Window. It might be something to work with as Zorte. He might try and deploy the odd bit of util just to save his teammate, or maybe even act as more of a distraction. Little do they know, with ships, poison, CT, this is a perfect setup to just shut down forZe as quickly as possible. Ships onto another, moves it all onto Zorte. He may have to just go save that ult with 20 seconds left, and for SKADE, a really, really clean buy round.
Yeah, it's actually fantastic. That's exactly what you need in a scenario like this, where you've had a bit of a rough start to a game, come into a buy round like this with full force, and they've done so very, very nicely. Not taking a single casualty. Denny really showing what he's made of with that AWP in play as well. Really as clean as they come. Zorte, he'll be able to save this sniper into the next, but just about an investment around it. Number 5 is where SKADE really look to try and take the reins, try and take control of this game. Because remember, this is their opponent's map pick, and because they lost Dust 2, it's a must-win map for them. Otherwise, they're out.
And with it being a must-win map, they really need the success here, as the util is deployed in mid. There's a player in underpass, though, in the form of ships. Is he spotted by Flitz? Yes, he is. There's the kill. There's the man advantage. This time, he isn't traded instantly. This time, player's going to Con. Short player. I'm not seen yet. May have to be a bit careful, as Zorte doesn't actually shoot, so the player jumping into Van and subsequently to Apps will be at least saved for now. That means a duplicate is left alone on this ace site. If he doesn't get this kill quickly, he's in a lot of trouble. Luckily, he's good for 1. Trade there by Jerry, and just like that, the ace site, it falls into the control of forZe. On the rotation, though, Rainwaker, a clean kill. Keeps it even now, and suddenly this is very winnable for SKADE. The fact that Rainwaker got that kill is going to be a bit of a punch to the stomach for the members of forZe, because that really was their crux to win. As then he holds the swing. Util goes out, the bomb will go down. Zoxygen deploys that initial flash. There's a swing from Zorte. He's attacked down fairly low. Almeiza's good for 1. He knows the follow-up's coming. Jerry, good for the second. It's all on to Denny's Store in the 1v3. And as he backs off, he'll go off to hide and pray. As forZe now go forward up, forcing SKADE back into a bit of an uncomfortable position. But here's the thing, Josh. In the to and fro like this, it's still pretty damn strong for either side. And for SKADE, it means that they don't lose any momentum. forZe, it doesn't mean they gain any. And it means that no one's really building a loss bonus.
Yeah, we kind of just continue to go back and forth, don't we? Neither team will be able to establish that foothold required to run away. forZe have done a really good job, though, to actually bounce back in this one. I was a little bit worried for them after what we saw in the last. My goodness, look at those odds. That is...
Wow.
That is crazy. That is a lot more one-sided than I'd have thought, to be honest. Bearing in mind how close we saw Dust 2 come, bearing in mind how Mirage has started, I feel like SKADE have a bit more of a chance than that, but we'll have to wait and see.
It's insane to think that forZe are rated that well on Mirage, that even SKADE, a side who, only recently I'd have said is also one of the best teams on Mirage in the world, is having to be 7-1 down on in predictions. As in the 4-on-4, forZe, they get ready to burst out of apps. Then he saw, fortunately, can't quite find the angle from short. Instead, he goes to the close angle, hugging Edward, as that molly lands on him. He extinguishes it, though, to reveal himself. And Kenzie on the flank just kills him. With Oxygen being able to come out onto garbage there, it's a nice kill for him. In a 3-on-3, Zorte keeps them even. Make that 3-on-2. Make that 3-on-1. Zorte starting to deliver. Bear in mind, Zorte, a man who hasn't died yet. The duplicate loses his head. forZe, they go 5-1 up. A really, really strong performance, actually, and a really solid start.
It really has been, yeah. Solid round right there. Forces SKADE finally down to what will be a shaky investment, let's call it. Maybe a couple of pistols come out. They've got the loss bonus behind them, but not much more than that. So the Eagles, tiny bit of Kevlar on Denny and ships. That's all we'll see. HG as well. Ooh, almost a shot on the cross. That would have been a cool one for Zorte to hit. A little bit of a confidence builder. That's what you need early as an AWPer in these kind of maps. It's Kenzie instead to find the first blood. That's on to Rainwaker. And forZe, yeah, just building this confidence. You see how much control they take on the map within the first few seconds. Of course, they're only against the pistols, but they're applying this kind of pressure throughout, then they're definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Jerry, as he shuts down Duplicate, it falls into the 5-on-2. Then he shuts down kenzie with a very strong opening there, and while Flit is able to double down, it falls into this now 1.4-on-1 Oxygen with nothing to save. I mean, he's got no reason to save. He might be able to get some mid. He might be able to find kenzie's weapon if it fell into Underpass, if he's lucky. But forZe, I think they're going to piece that together fairly soon. I think we will see Jerry drop down and take the fight with Oxygen as he swings out. I think he reveals himself. He sees both members, and with that, he'll be quickly killed. It's a 6-1 lead for forZe. As the Russian side starts to put some distance between them and SKADE, they're looking fairly strong. Of course, as the Pinnacle banner appeared on your screen there, remember, when you bet €10, you then gain your €10 back. With Rainwaker able to follow it up. Quick kill on the flip there. Then he saw doubles down, though. Aggression into mid. Duplicate really following it up now. It's all on to kenzie at a 1v5. What else can he do from here, Josh? Well, for now, as we move into another uncomfortable position, we'll see if anything can be held by this engagement, with SKADE having lost this last round. That's a second there. And it means that at least with this investment that Orpal Denny saw, it's got a bit of money behind it as well. So even if they lose, I reckon he probably could risk glass cannoning another one. As the members of forZe try to hold. There's Duplicate to get the entry now. Another quick kill, and this time Almeza, he ran out there fairly alone. It meant that there was no opportunity for a trade. There was, however, Zorte who could have held for the peak, but rather than entering with the AWP, he went for the trade. Unable to do so, though, as his opponent fell back instantly. This flip boosts up Jerry. They head into window. As they do so, Jerry, as Denny saw boosted up, peek into them. Zorte taken down. There's a trade by kenzie. He's good for one. A ship's able to follow it up. Leaves us in the 4-on-2. So they take an engagement. Now, Oxygen, first to fall on the cross. See another member coming. And for Flitz, that's a perfect opening now. 2-on-2. Remaining members of SKADE having to hold for the time being. The ships is taken down. It all falls onto Duplicate. A really well recovered round by forZe here. Duplicate tries to cross. Wait to see if anyone can deliver. Missed shot there. 1v1 between Jerry and Duplicate now. Can he follow it up as Jerry gets ready to swing out? Duplicate, a bit of damage there. No kill yet, though, as he swings out. Jerry gets the kill, and just like that, forZe a round they had no equity in winning.
You know why you don't buy a wireless headset, Kremer?
Why don't you buy a wireless headset, Josh?
Because they die.
They die. Did yours die?
It did die. But, you know, if you're responsible enough, or even, I say responsible, it's just called having like the slightest bit of like organization, isn't it? Then when you go to bed or whatever, you put it on the stand and it charges. But I don't. I just sort of throw it somewhere, and then I wake up the next day and it's got no battery, and then it dies on me, and rubbish. Rubbish is rubbish is rubbish. I'm useless, Kremer, is the moral of the story.
Yeah, you did scare our producer quite a lot.
I did.
Yes, that might be a fun game we can now play. Can we scare the tellers? Of course, ships. Good for the first member. Almeza, he's able to follow it up as it falls into the 4-on-4. Through the smoke, though, Duplicate taken down. Ships and Zorte exchange blows, leaving into the 3-on-2. Oxygen, a brave play through CT. Zorte punishes it, leaving all onto Rainwaker. For forZe, a win here means they win the half. And then SKADE are playing catch up for what has to be what would be the really is well into the second.
Absolutely, yeah. forZe will have already taken a solid half, a solid result after winning this one. Similar to what we saw from SKADE, to be honest, over on Mirage. Then they really did start to lose control. So I don't want to sort of get too confident just yet, but this has been a good start for them. It really has. And bearing in mind, this is their best map. They've got the confidence of just beating their opponents on their opponent's map pick. They should be feeling pretty good right now. 8-2. As that bomb explodes, Rainwaker, of course, will survive. But what do they buy around him? $3,400 on pretty much everybody? That's not enough to go for a proper investment. I'm sure we just see pistols here.
I'm interested to see if there's any recovery from forZe, because as they cling to this investment now, they don't have too much money. Jerry's on 0, Almeida's on 1.5, Flit on 2.4. It's really not much, and it's purely because they've had to keep investing, because Duplicate keeps doing things like that. He just takes Jerry down. Flint also is no longer for the land of the living. And as he gets ready to exit through Palace, the mollies mean that he does have to hide, at least for now. So Almeida tries to hard clear the site, and rather than kind of fighting the problem, they sort of just ignore it as the flank of Duplicate becomes ever more worrisome. Ships and CT also able to deliver as Almeida responds. It looks like we're going to see around the world from forZe. It's your cinnamon swell, Josh.
I love it. I love it in play. I do hope it works. Of course, they're just up against the Deagles here. This should not be a round that they're losing. To be honest, after how it started with a couple of beautiful kills from Duplicate, I'm pretty impressed with their ability to have recovered it. Now they need to win it, though. This should have been a freebie 9th for them, and instead they're having to fight quite hard for it. Retakes coming in from short and the apartments. No one towards that market area. And there we go. Zorte taking the first engagement. Can't hit the shot onto short, but has the information. Calls for Almeida to swing. Whiffs the shots. Now he's being challenged from behind. Somehow spins and finds it. And in the one-on-one, Duplicate's got no kit. He's got no time. That's it. Game over. Zorte just has to play the time here. He does so admirably. And there you have it. 9 on the board for forZe. And somehow, Zorte clutches up a round that shouldn't have been his, especially when that Deagle was behind him.
Here's the thing, while that round shouldn't have been his, it shouldn't have been SKADE's either. They went as this with just the Eagles. Of course, as the Pinnacle banner appears on the screen, remember, when you bet €10, you then gain an extra €10. This has to be when you bet on esports, though. So remember, when you sign up at pinnacle.com/welcome, sign up using code CUP21 to give yourself that option. Of course, full terms and conditions do apply, and only ever bet in a fun and safe environment. These 2 kills were nuts, if I'm honest.
Yeah, they were. They really were. That was actually incredible. SKADE should, well, maybe not SKADE, Duplicate should be feeling a little bit good after that one, but bearing in mind the current scoreline, I don't think they'll be too happy, especially not how this round's just started. A couple of really, really strong kills, brings it into a 5-on-2. 4-on-2 now made by Oxygen, as it does take 1. Might be good for another. Duplicate's actually kind of evening out these numbers. There's potentially a chance for him. And whilst it's still a tough round, it's a winnable one for Oxygen.
Oxygen, had a flash out of CT. He gets ready to push into Kenzie. He hasn't seen him yet, though. He gets ready to flank through the smoke. Kenzie, will he see Oxygen? Looks like he won't. And for Oxygen, there's the reaction. There's the kill. There's a 10-2 lead for forZe, as this game is really starting to spiral out of control, Josh.
The issue is for Oxygen, he's then really starting to question why the bomb's not gone down. They've had the A site for 20 seconds, the C4's not been planted. Now, why? Why has it not gone down? He starts to realize that maybe the bomb's been left towards the spawn, they've wrapped back round to the B site. He starts to question if there's even anybody there, and that's where a very winnable round, a very winnable clutch becomes kind of just impossible. Quick technical timeout before we get back underway with this one. You can see SKADE's money's not looking great either. And this has got to be heartbreaking, isn't it? You come into a tournament, you have like a really good run. You actually have a fantastic game against Entropic to even get here in the first place. and then it all just kind of crumbles in front of you, doesn't it? You go up against forZe, you have a bit of a rough time, and well, now they're in a position where they could be kicked out. That's it. And the thing is with the Pinnacle Cup is that it's very, very top heavy when it comes to the prize pool. Realistically, whoever loses this game, they've still had a brilliant run. This will be a 5th to 8th placing, I think. In fact, yeah, it definitely will be. It'll be a 5th to 8th placing, whoever loses this one. But you don't get any money for that. You don't get any money for 3rd, 4th either. It's very, very top heavy indeed. $80,000 for 1st place. That's a hell of a payday. And then $20,000 for 2nd. So
wow,
you're only in the money if you make it to the finals.
Look at that prediction. That's insane. This next round, of course, if forZe win it, a 92% chance at a victory. I mean, that's really impressive. Of course, you need to remember that if they lose it, it's only down to 82, which in itself is insane. And honestly, I'm not surprised by this. 10-2, forZe looking so significantly in the lead right now. When SKADE, they seem... It's not that SKADE are really playing badly, it's just forZe playing sick.
Yeah, they are. They are really, really comfortable here on Mirage. They're fantastic. They're looking really strong. Now, I think the fear is, the big fear, is whoever wins this map actually has to...
timed out. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, wow, that's definitely a server presence if they have to call a technical pause when he's not even there. But no,
right.
SKADE have problem with the microphones.
Oh, okay, all right. Hopefully that'll be fixed shortly. But yeah, whoever actually wins this game has to face up against the winner of Team Spirit versus Team Fiend, which is insane. I think Spirit probably should win that one. I'm pretty sure Spirit is still a top 10 team at the moment as well. Yep. So that's going to be a really, really tough one. And I actually think that it's kind of weird how that's worked out. If you kind of take a look at the bracket and whatnot, we had 2 playoffs invite teams. So you had all your Swiss stage invite teams. You had the teams that then kind of qualified through in the low seed invites, where we saw some sort of young guns emerge. That's where Mao's NXT came from, and they really made it far. And then you had your Swiss stage invite teams, and then you had 2 playoffs invite teams. And I would kind of expect them to be seeded on either end of the bracket, and that was forZe and Team Spirit, but they haven't been. They've been put on the same side of the bracket, so potentially they have to play against each other.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting, wouldn't it, to see that much of a swing.
Oh, they're not a top 10 team anymore. They're 13th. 13th.
That's still pretty good, though, isn't it?
It is pretty good.
That's still really good. And hopefully we can fix this fairly quickly. Like issues, they're not fun, are they?
They're not fun, no. We're fairly familiar with mic issues, aren't we?
What I found is that in every single CS team, there's one guy who knows like tech stuff and how to fix mics, for instance. But when your mic's broken, you can't explain it to the tech guy that it's broken or how to fix it because your mic's broken.
Textbook
it's a predicament, isn't it? Yeah,
it is a predicament. You know, every CS team has someone that can set up TeamSpeak servers as well. And if you don't have someone in your CS team that can set up TeamSpeak servers, then that's it, you disband.
Well, now you have a friend who can.
Ah, fine.
Yeah, I was the one who could set up TeamSpeak servers.
Were you?
I think,
okay.
Is everyone moving? Are we back underway? We're back underway. They fixed it.
Huge.
Here we go. So, Jerry rotating into mid. And like that, there's ships instantly to fall. However, on the trade, Rainwaker tries to follow it up. Not quite do so yet, though, instead, as it falls into the 4-on-4. Kenzie tries to follow it up. Taps down, and he's still there. And just like Josh, you blink and you miss it. It's only 2 players. Make that 1 player left for SKADE. It's Oxygen.
Oh, wow.
This is nuts.
Yeah, this is really forZe at their best. This is incredible stuff.
Here's the thing as well. You look at the kills. It's only spread out. It's 3 kills spread between bottom fragger and top fragger. Every single player is pulling their weight right now. Every single one is delivering. And yeah, we look over at players like Zorte. He's only died 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah, he has. And we're on round number 14. So that's insane. At this point, it doesn't really matter. I feel like the outcome is kind of tainted by the fact that forZe, at the very worst, are going to have an 11-4 half here, which is like insane, especially for their T side on their map pick. If they take any more, then I really don't see SKADE getting back into this in any way, shape, or form, especially if we end up seeing a 13-2 or something like that.
A 13-2 would be insane, wouldn't it? Like, that would be. Would that be the most one-sided half we'd have in the Pinnacle Cup?
Possibly, definitely in the playoff
Pinnacle
stages.
Cups, actually. We almost did the entirety of Pinnacle Cup 1, and there wasn't any games that were this one-sided. I think we in the Germany endpoint MIBR game on Ancients, were those back-to-back 13-2s?
Yes, they were, yeah.
So, unfortunately, forZe, no records to be set today, but it would be an almost one-sided half in playoffs.
Yeah.
That could help.
And that's exciting.
That is exciting. Well, it's all down to Oxygen in a 1v2 to try and mitigate the damage. Fortunately, the bomb's already down. He does have an AK to use, or AK to wield, but the second he deploys that flash, he's going to reveal himself, and he just goes for the attack. Flip finishes the job. That's a 12-2 lead now, was SKADE. I mean, they have money to invest, but only on some of their members. It's going to be Fabrices on most of them.
Yeah, and this is the last round of the half as well. You don't want to be kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel with these kinds of buys. You want something substantial. You want something that you have a bit of confidence in. And I can't imagine they have a lot of confidence in this. They've been losing every single round this half, even when they've had the big guns out. Now they have to try and do so with a FAMAS, an MP9. The 3M4s have got no utility behind them. It's a single smoke grenade on Oxygen. Rainwaker is able to find that opening, though. That maybe gives them something to work with. As Flit does find a refrag, but he's tagged down to 6 HP, so still a chance here for SKADE to maybe make something happen here in the 15th.
It's Jerry, expect you to swing into him. There's a bit of damage done. Ships needs to really watch out for this angle here. He hasn't taken too much damage yet, though. Instead, as the follow-up comes, duplicate naded, mollied as well. He has to back off. Instead, over in mid, Flit. Is he seen by the window player? Yes, he is. Ships gets that kill. And as it falls into the 3-on-4, there's a chance for a comeback. I say chance with a massive quotation mark because, I mean, even if it's 12-3, what can they really do here?
Oh, Ships. Oh, my goodness. All right. A couple of nice headshots. In fact, 4 for Ships there. Incredible round. But as you say, it almost just feels like too little, too late. It's a shame to not be hyping up these big plays, but at the end of the day, it's a 12-3 half. SKADE, they are in the mud, and they really need some kind of miracle to get out of it, to be honest. It's quicksand, and every time they panic, they sink deeper and deeper. If forZe can win this pistol round, I think it's probably game over. If SKADE take it, there's a thin thread that they hold on to, but maybe there's a chance for at least a little comeback.
Let's see what can be done by these members. Going to be a tough position from them as forZe. They see the attack coming to way. Jerry, really nice opening there as Ships falls. Jerry's able to double down though. There's duplicate Rainwaker trade. The 3-on-3 becomes very winnable for them. So they swing out. Flit tags them down. No kill yet. Instead, Kenzie is going to have to follow it up as he holds in position. Rainwaker, he tries to respond onto them as they swing out. Then he's saw damage done. Rainwaker, while Messi does fall to Kenzie by a body shots. The bomb stepped once. Then he saw he has to swing into Almeida. He falls, and as Kenzie gets the second. forZe, that'll be the pistol rounds, Josh. It's got out the window for SKADE.
Yeah, I think at this point it's game over. 13-3. With the bomb plant, I assume SKADE try and go for an investment here. If it works, then I mean, I don't even know what's on the cards for them if it works. Maybe they pull back a couple. If it doesn't, then that's it. They'll have no money moving forward. forZe will be able to push themselves onto match and series point. And that's where I really do think things start to get put to bed here. 3-13. SKADE, they've got some Galils behind them. They've got single AK on Rainwaker. He's been incredible so far this series. But when Zorte's hitting shots like that, there's not much you can do.
A really, really tough position for SKADE, isn't it? I mean, Denny saw a duplicate. They tried to get out on A. Zorte sees him coming. He's got Jerry there to support him. Well, duplicate, I mean, 2 kills. Nice for him. Silver linings, isn't it, Josh? 14-3 the scoreline now. When for SKADE, this is just, I can't imagine what they can change here that could possibly help them. I think this is over at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. Losing that one. That's it. You can see shaking his head. I think that's Denny Slot. He's not happy. This has been just a really rough one, and I think it's so easy to let games like this, where nothing's going right, just slip away. I mean, they have been using their timeouts and things like that, but it can be so quick. It just kind of flashes by, and then you get to the end of the match and you just sit there with your head in your hands going, how have we just let that happen? How is it already over? But this is what it is. It's forZe. They've just been incredible. SKADE are going to be kicking themselves that they weren't able to win Dust 2. That would have given them a second chance here in this third map of the series. But with just the pistols, remember, this is another full investment. This is Deagles and armor, and they're being completely demolished.
This is getting ridiculous now, Josh. SKADE, they are being toyed with. They're being kind of messed around and spat out by this side of forZe. And honestly, we knew it would be close. Remember, over at Pinnacle, if you want some, that's 1.002 to 77. I think our partners at Pinnacle slightly favour forZe, Josh. Ever so slightly.
Who wants to be a millionaire? That's the question. Who fancies it? Who fancies their shit? They expect it to be more one-sided than that, to be honest. Bear in mind they're the series odds as well. 12 and a vote required here for SKADE, and that is a hell of an aid.
Yeah, it's just a slaughter. Almeiza good for 2 auction while he does trade. Unfortunately, Flit's there to make sure that not even a single bit of ground is recovered. The bomb doesn't go down. Chips is good for 1, and like that, they're they're decimated on SKADE. 16-3. forZe now stand as they triumph over their opponents with an insane performance there. And look how happy forZe are that. They're just joking. They're enjoying themselves, and rightfully so, because that is a well-earned victory.
It absolutely is. Yeah, really, really incredible stuff there from them. An impressive performance, and one that they're going to go away happy with. Yeah, this is going to be a good, relaxing night for them. They get to watch the game between Fiend and Team Spirit as well, which means that, yeah, maybe they've got a bit of time. I mean, Fiend and Team Spirit would have been able to watch that matchup as well. But, yeah, maybe it gives them a little bit of insight on what's to come. That matchup, of course, going to be the next matchup that will take place. The semi-finals, the winner of that game will be taking on forZe to bag themselves a spot for that cash prize, and the big hefty one as well. That's all from us today, though, Kremer. We're kind of only on one a day at the moment, aren't we?
It's more than all from us. That's us for the Pinnacle Cup.
Is it?
It is. It is. That is us for the Pinnacle Cup. Of course, it's been an absolute pleasure to be on here with you, Josh. Of course, this is our second Pinnacle Cup. Of course, Pinnacle, absolutely incredible people. They have made this whole thing possible and really just helped nurture the scene. Really, really wonderful stuff. Yeah, we're both privileged to be here. Of course, for the last time from us in this cup, I've been Newcastle Crabber 3. I'm enjoyed by the wonderful M&J, our producer, of course, Natellas, our admin Perchy, and our observer Skipper. I've guided you through these last couple of games. Me and Josh will be switching out. I believe the producer, observer, and admin will be the same, though. So until the next time, bye-bye.